It's funny that we figured out that confidence is what we sell, because overcoming, lack of confidence was probably the first big hurdle of, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Is this going to work? Taking that first leap, I think to this day, has probably been the biggest obstacle getting started.
Welcome to Corporate Warrior, the podcast that brings you the best advice on how to improve your health, optimize performance, and maximize productivity. With your host, Lawrence Neal.
This podcast is brought to you by HitUni.com. HitUni.com are a provider of amazing online courses for high-intensity training qualifications. HitUni comes highly recommended by the best in the field, including Body by Science co-author Dr. Doug McGuff, Discover Strength CEO Luke Carlson, and trainer and founder of Bay.com, Drew Bay. It was founded by my friend, author, and longtime personal trainer Simon Shawcross, who's also been a guest on the podcast. Simon has 15 years experience training clients and has supervised over 15,000 high-intensity training workouts. Using knowledge from experts like Skylar Tanner, Dr. James Steele, Dr. Ellington Darden, HitUni is a goldmine for learning everything to do with high-intensity training. The courses are delivered online through the website, where you can learn via a variety of multimedia materials at your own pace. There's online support and a discussion forum where you can share ideas and ask for help. To learn more about high-intensity training and improve my own results, I started their personal trainer course. The content is amazing, the courses are really easy to follow, and each section is organized into bite-sized chunks that give you a real sense of achievement after you complete each one. I should also mention there is a DIY course. So this is the course for you if you're not necessarily a personal trainer, but you want to learn more about high-intensity training and how to implement it for maximum benefit in your own exercise regime. To get your exclusive Corporate Warrior 10% discount on any course you purchase, simply head on over to hituni.com, that's HITUNI.com, and enter the coupon code CW10, that's CW and the number 10. So again, head on over to hituni.com, pick your course, and enter the coupon code CW10 for 10% discount. Thank you for your support. This episode is brought to you by Health IQ, a life insurance company that helps health-conscious people like runners, cyclists, weightlifters, high-intensity training participants, and more get a low rate on their life insurance. Go to healthiq.com/cwarrior to support the show and see if you qualify. If you take care of yourself, you do smart strength training, you eat well, and your life insurance company doesn't seem like they care, there's an answer for you. Health IQ actually gives savings to people who take care of themselves. About 56% of Health IQ customers save between 4 and 33% on their life insurance because of this. Health IQ customers can save up to a third because physically active people have a 56% lower risk of heart disease, 20% lower risk of cancer, and 58% lower risk of diabetes compared to people that are inactive. But your life insurance company probably just doesn't care. You care, and there are companies out there that care. To see if you qualify, get your free quote today at healthiq.com/cwarrior or mention the promo code CWarrior when you talk to a Health IQ agent. Hey guys, I am Lawrence Neal and welcome to another episode of Corporate Warrior, the podcast that teaches you how to optimize your high-intensity training workouts and start and grow your high-intensity training business. My former guests include high-intensity training experts like Dr. Doug McGuff and Drew Bay, paleo pioneers Mark Sisson and Rob Wolf, diet and metabolism expert Dr. Ted Naiman, strength training entrepreneurs like Luke Carlson, time management experts, minimalist, high-intensity training extreme endurance adventure racers, and everything in between. My guest today is fitness business entrepreneur Owen Dockham. Owen is the founder of Live Oak Strength and Nutrition, Emeryville, California, and co-founder of Everstrong, an ARX facility in San Francisco. This was a really fun conversation. Owen has had a lot of success growing 2 successful strength training businesses, and this episode serves as an excellent resource to help you start and grow your own business. We talk about how Owen got started, the pros and cons of going solo versus with a partner. We talk a lot about networking, and in particular BNI, which stands for Business Networking International. Networking is incredibly valuable and a great way for you to get more customers. So we really do dig into this and talk about how you can get the most out of it. We talk about how Owen was able to raise capital for his business, how to work successfully alongside your spouse. Owen manages to do this very, very well. I'm not sure if working with your spouse is for everyone, but learning how Owen manages that and how they manage that in their own relationship is fascinating. We talk about how Owen markets his business successfully, the importance in building community, and much, much more. For all of the show notes and links for this episode and all episodes, please go to corporatewarrior.org. Don't forget to hang around at the end of this episode for your free gift from me. And now I give you strength training entrepreneur Owen Dockham. Owen, welcome to Corporate Warrior.
Hey, Lawrence. Thanks for having me, man.
You are most welcome. So let's kick off just to get to know you a little bit better and your background and how it all started. So tell us a bit about yourself and how you started as a high intensity training instructor with 2 locations.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So let's see, where do I start that? I guess it's relevant to say back in 2011, I guess I just moved back to the Bay Area where I live now in Berkeley, and I was looking for a job, kind of had just come out of doing odd jobs for 2 years. And I was a piano teacher, so I started teaching piano, but then also, that's self-employed. So I was starting to look for a real job, quote unquote, and landed a job working at a chiropractic wellness clinic that was pretty busy as the front desk guy. And I worked at that facility for 4.5 years and did pretty much everything under that roof other than be a chiropractor. I went from doing front desk management, rehab, assisting. That's where I started becoming a personal trainer, office manager. So I really learned the nuts and bolts of what it took to run a business in the wellness sphere. And during that time, went back to school to learn some about nutrition and started forming my own clientele during that time, just very, very part-time. So during that 5-year process of learning how to run a business, going back to school, meeting at Bowman College, I met Andy Baptist of Optimize Fit, who was working with David DeSisto, original super slow guy, great guy, actually really probably a great person you could interview too. And we just clicked, David and I. So I started training in the super slow methodology over at his facility. And it's kind of all, the rest is history from there. Really, the uniqueness of the high intensity protocol really caught on with some people in my community, and it just expanded so fast that I needed to open up. I was kind of almost forced to open my own facility because of the demand was so obvious. Yeah. And we can, that's the the short end of it.
No, that's good. So, obviously I know a little bit already about, we've known each other for a while, and I know a bit about your story and how it all came to be. So BNI and networking in general has played a huge part in your business from kind of start to where you are now. Was this happening? Was BNI going on in the background? When just talk us through that? Like, when did that start? And talk to us about how that actually turned into you getting customers.
Right. So 2015 May is when I finished up at Bowman College for nutrition, and that's right when I started studying my super slow kind of modified certification that Falcon Christopher and David DeSisto came up with. And so I think it was September of 2015 when I started seeing clients at his facility, and that I got clients. He passed a few my way, some overflow, and then I had a few people that I had trained group classes with at other locations. So they all came on board. And BNI, Business Networking International, for your listeners who don't know what that is, came around when my previous employer asked me to sub for her at a meeting. I had no idea what BNI was. So BNI is the largest business networking group in the entire world. I think there's something like, 9,000 chapters across the world, and 250,000 members. So it's an opportunity where there's a weekly meeting, with business professionals. And the beauty of it is there's only one person in an industry allowed in each chapter. So, there's one chiropractor, there's one business attorney, one acupuncturist, one florist. So I came in, there was a spot for a personal trainer. And the group that I visited, I already knew some of the people in there through my old employer because they were patients there. So I came in the first day and a couple people gave me testimonials in front of this group. And they hadn't even worked with me in Super Slow. They were just speaking on the content of my character as a person, essentially. So I had a shoe in. And I said, you know what, this seems great. I visited a few times, but I didn't feel ready to join. It was $800 to join for 2 years, plus a quarterly fee of about $200. So that, back then that was a lot of money. And I think a couple months went by, and I kept just kind of chugging along at DeSisto, taking clients. And I heard through the grapevine that another personal trainer was going to join that chapter, and I got really jealous and competitive. I'm like, wait a second, that's my chapter. So I went back, and I guess I just needed a little fire under my ass to join. And fortunately, they voted me in, and I haven't looked back. And now I'm the president of that chapter, actually. And it's just a fantastic group of people that are essentially me for them and them for I. We're walking, talking billboards for each other's businesses. 7 days a week. If I hear someone's got a crook in their neck, I have a massage therapist that I refer them to. And that not only, that brings value to them, but it makes me look better. I have all these resources at my hands. I have the best attorney in the city of Oakland. Literally, he got voted best attorney twice, 2 years in a row now. And I think that really just adds a lot of value to your business when you're really well connected to different services. So that's how it kind of exploded. Right after I joined, it was, my group was like, why don't you open your own location? I'm not going to drive across the Bay Bridge for a 20-minute workout. And, a few of them did, thankfully, and told the rest of the group how awesome it was. And 3 months later, after I joined the chapter, I opened my first location in Emeryville, Live Oak Strength and Nutrition. And then I guess where we're at now is a year and a half after, and we're in a bigger facility just 4 blocks away, thankfully. And we've got my fiance is the office manager and master trainer, and we've got 3 other employees that are seeing clients there too. So it just kind of grew and grew and grew. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to hear about the success you had through BNI. As you know, I was a member of BNI myself a very long time ago, probably almost 8 years ago now. Was it 8 years ago? Maybe less than that, a little bit less. And yeah, I don't miss getting up at 5 a.m. to get into the centre of London for 7 a.m. breakfast. But I did find it really useful in terms of building some connections and friends I still talk to now. Albeit, we don't do obviously as much perhaps business now because we're in different industries and far apart and don't see each other. But when I was there, it was very, very useful. And I can really see, those that got the most out of it were those that actually contributed the most and actually tried to help other people the most, because then others reciprocate, and that's kind of how it works. Do you want to just talk about, because I think there's something really beneficial here for, those that are running strength training facilities, or those that I think are starting. BNI and networking groups in general are ubiquitous and they're quite useful. So do you want to talk about how do you get the most out of that opportunity in your experience?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, BNI is a gold mine for high intensity trainers. One, people in BNI are busy working professionals. And if that is not like the epitome of the perfect niche, right, for someone who could benefit from our type of training, I don't know what is. And BNI is quite different, unique from a lot of networking groups because it operates on the philosophy of givers gain. The more you give, the more inclined others will be to give to you. So not only have I received, I was checking a couple weeks ago, I think it's close to $200,000 now in my just shy of 2 years of being in the group. I've given over $160,000 worth of business to other members. And that is how, people build trust. And that to me is almost more rewarding than what I've received, is knowing that I've helped play a small role in other people's success. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's easy, to get caught up in your own business. God, you get so much thrown at you all the time, every day. It's hard to remain grounded sometimes. So I find that giving really gives me this sense of, I guess, pure happiness. And I think that's deep down what we're all looking for, right? It's not just money. It's the training is just like the medium. It's my canvas to connect with people. I'm also a pianist. So, for a while, teaching piano is how I connected with people. And now it's just shifted to fitness. So deep down, it's just finding a way to authentically connect with people and make a difference in their lives. And so that to me is, I couldn't imagine running my business without having that community of support behind me. Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting you say that, because I remember Skylar saying to me, I said to Skylar, like, Skylar, you're a big deal. I said to him, if you wanted to,
he's all right.
Yeah, I big him up too much, probably. I'm just being nice to him because obviously we're all going to hang out soon at the conference. Right. But I said to him, if you wanted to, you could probably build a pretty good online coaching business and earn a fortune. And he said to me, well, no, I enjoy being around people. It's not necessarily about the money or just about the money. It's about, working with people. And he obviously shared stories about the relationships he forged and the closeness that he's forged with some of these people. And it's crazy. In a good way. And it sounds like you do that too. And I get the feeling that, if you want to pursue this business, you've really got to have that love and that interest in learning about people and creating these very close relationships. Unless I suppose there are probably examples of people where they do start a business, but they're not the trainer. They're not working in the business as much. And I guess that is optional. Probably not at the beginning, but certainly down the line. So that's interesting that I see that trend,
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Skylar and I have a lot of similarities in how we run our businesses. And, at the turn of a dime, I think, both he and I could probably, if we needed a business loan or something, we'd have multiple clients who just chomp at the bit to help us, and I think that is how he got funded. I too, for my second round of my current MedX equipment, I got a personal loan from a client who willingly just said, Owen, I've been training with you for 18 months. I really see your potential. I believe in you. I would love to play a part. I just came into some money and let me know what I can do to help. And it was like, just blown away. It's just, it happens if you just give. And that it comes back to that giver's gain philosophy. So it is about the people there. It's like getting creative with funding, essentially. You don't have to go out and get a traditional SBA loan, from a bank. And sometimes that's hard. I imagine for many people starting out, they don't have great credit and wouldn't qualify. So go meet people and build trust and community, and people will have your back.
Yeah, I love that. It's very karmic. It's kind of going in with that attitude that, as long as you contribute your greatest value and help people, that it will come back to you, and it will work out in the long run. And sometimes I think, this podcast, obviously different type of business, but kind of similar principles apply. It's like, certainly when I first moved to Ireland, I was like, is this going to work out? Am I going to be able to generate enough revenue? And it's still challenging. But I'm just kind of keeping the faith that, I get emails almost daily from people saying they love the show. And it's just, about honoring that and continuing to crank out the best shows that I can with the likes of people like you, and just having faith in the process.
Yeah, you're playing such a huge role in this, Lawrence. Really, I mean, bridging all these people. I wouldn't know. I mean, I don't know personally, but probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to reach out to people like Blair Wilson and Drew. I have little conversations on Facebook with all these guys now, and it feels like we're all part of something bigger and that we are a team and a community. So yeah, it's going to be great to meet you guys all in person and shoot the shit.
No, I really appreciate that comment. It's really nice to hear. Okay. So on this topic of kind of marketing quickly, obviously, networking, BNI, really instrumental in growing your client base. And what are we talking about in terms of, like, if you look at your overall marketing advertising strategy for your businesses, what part of that has BNI contributed to, and what other methods are you using as well? Right.
Gosh, at one point, I mean, BNI was responsible in one form or another for 75% of my business revenue. We call it like tier 1 referrals. So like when a member that in my group is an actual client of mine, like which 15 or so people in my chapter do work out with me, that's a tier 1 referral. But if one of them recommends someone in their extended network, maybe their husband, their wife, their coworker, their boss, that's a tier 2. It's outside of the group. So I have a lot of tier 2, 3, tier 4 referrals now, like so-and-so, my secretary treasurer referred one of her patients, and that patient brought in her husband, and then the husband brought in his manager, So to me, that is what I'm going to keep focusing on. It's what works. It's not free. I pay, well, as president now I get a little bonus, like I don't have to pay for 6 months, but it's nominal to what I get back. We're reporting thousands of dollars a week, and thank you for closed business. At the meeting at BNI, at the end of the meeting, it's very structured. We go around and thank each other for business, or give a testimonial, or give a referral. So yeah, the BNI is something I have no plans of stopping soon. Lucy is actually joining another chapter in a different area of Oakland soon. So Live Oak will have 2 BNI chapters kind of that it will be related with. And then Abe, my business partner over at Everstrong, joined a great chapter over there in San Francisco, who's been equally, it seems, as supportive for his contributions to Everstrong as BNI has been for Live Oak. Other than BNI, I mean, Instagram and Facebook just for me seem like something that's fun to do, and just to kind of to extend our network, essentially to show, hey, this is who we are. We're not trying to sell or convince anyone, but we're just really authentically trying to show people this is who Everstrong and Live Oak are. See how much fun we're having. Look at the results people are having. If this vibes with you, come check us out. But we don't spend money on Facebook ads. Yelp got us for a free $200 worth of advertising. We used it up, and we're not going to pursue that any further. And I was just watching a Gary Vaynerchuk video, and I thought he was talking to some restaurateur. And I might try this. They were talking about looking in your area for people with, what do they call them? Influencers, people with 5,000 followers or more. Clicking on the 3 dots on those people's profiles and offering them something. So for the restaurant, it was like $10 off some chicken wings. But I figured, we could offer them a free workout. What if I got somebody with 1 million followers in Emeryville to come do a workout and posted a video or 2 or some pictures of us? There's some free marketing. That was worth the free session. So I'm interested in playing with that kind of stuff. But for right now, we're just doing what's tested, tried and true, and connecting in the real world with real people and other business owners.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the kind of influencer marketing strategy, and Instagram makes that very accessible. It's not something that I've really tried to leverage for the podcast, to be honest. But I see the value in it. But you have to be so careful with social media because some of it can be just a total waste of time. And as much as I like Gary, and I go through phases where I get so addicted to his content, because he's so inspirational and I love his attitude. But I'm not a big fan of, people using 6 different social media platforms to try and get stuff done and trying to track clients. And I think you have to I think what people don't do enough of is the hard thinking, sitting down and going, okay, what's my business? Where are my customers? Where do my customers hang out? Let's go there and let's be really strategic and not try and be everywhere. So I could do a whole podcast on that easily, but
totally.
It's it can be problematic. I was just thinking quickly, regarding what's quite interesting to me is I bet you actually, when you're training clients, because you're getting to know them, especially the new ones that walk through the door, and you're kind of having conversations and getting to know who they are as you train them, I bet you find loads of referrals for your network as you're going through that process.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I refer, we see between Everstrong and Live Oak, we're seeing roughly 150 sessions a week right now. And those people need massages. Those people need a living will trust set up. So I have a great, living will trust attorney in my group that I can refer to. I know people like, I have chiropractor friends who set their businesses up all wrong. I'm like, you got to go talk to Brian. He's the best attorney. So, I send him business all the time. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when you have a business that is people oriented, you become a great giver because people need things. We're all doing our things. So it feels really good.
One really important skill for any business owner is the ability to pitch their business very articulately in a succinct way. You can see your face. You're like, oh, he's going to ask me to do it.
Oh no!
You obviously have a 60-second pitch, right, for BNI. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, that's so our group is growing, and it's been a 30-second pitch, and I'm as El Presidente, I might even make it 20 seconds because we've been struggling ending our meetings on time because we've had so many visitors, which is a great thing, but we all have to clean up our act. So my name's Owen. I'm the founder of Everstrong SF. We help really busy people become the strongest versions of themselves in just 20 minutes once a week. That's my pitch.
I love it.
That's short and sweet. I have alternative ones like, hi, my name's Owen, founder of Live Oak Strength and Nutrition and Everstrong. And a great referral for me is someone who's always saying, I'm so busy when you ask them, how are you doing? Those are great referrals for me. Yeah. So things like that. And that's another thing I could talk all day about with BNI. The beauty of it is you become accountable to X amount of other people, whatever members in your chapter every week to come and talk about your business. You get to practice talking about what you do. So you have no choice really to get really good at doing your pitch. And then every, however big your group is, every now and then you get to give a full on 10-minute presentation, PowerPoint, if you choose so. And we've really found the most successful 10-minute presentations are a good balance of not just talking about your business, but talking about who you are as a person. The last presentation was our bookkeeper, and she was brilliant interweaving her cat. She had tons of pictures of her cat into her presentation because she's like, bookkeeping is the most boring subject. But she made it really interesting, cracking cat jokes about her business and how her cat is her boss and tells her what to do and all this stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun if you make it fun. So
yeah, it's you're taking me back because I can recall my 10-minute presentations and how awful they were. But you're right. It is BNI. I mean, I'm not, just to be clear, like I have no affiliation with BNI. I don't earn any money. I mean, Owen might, but
no.
but I'm just talking about networking in general, but BNI is something we're both familiar with, so it's easy to talk about that. But the benefits of joining something like BNI or other is multifold. You know, you're building you're getting better at building relationships, understanding how to network in general, how to public speak, how to do public speaking, how to present. And what I do like about BNI specifically is how structured it is, because some people are like, no, I don't like the formal feel to BNI, but I'm like, but that's how you get shit done. Oh, and Owen has a cat.
Yep.
And that caught me a bit off guard.
Sorry. This is Darwin. Sorry, buddy.
No problem. No, we should do video on this one so people can see your cat. Maybe we'll put it in the blog post.
I haven't combed my beard, Lawrence. Let's hold on.
That is true. I just think it's important for people to consider that for almost any business. Okay, so we've probably spoken about that a fair bit. What other ways do you market your business? I think you mentioned before that you have done some articles on Medium before. What's your take on that, and how has that worked out?
Not so well. I mean, that was just kind of a fun thing I started doing right when the business opened. I wanted to get a few just introductory articles up and running, but honestly, I just haven't made writing articles a priority in my schedule. I would love to. I love writing. It just seems like my schedule fills up so quickly. And, I feel like it would be good. We get a lot of the same questions each week from our clients. Like, what else should I be doing other than these 2 20-minute workouts? I answer that question 10 times a week. So I've been like, man, I really need to write an article about this and have it on our blog so I can just send people to that. So for me, I know it would be a time saver for me to just write a few short articles on our most frequently asked questions, because that would free me up from the stress of like, oh man, I got to email so-and-so back to tell her, hey, okay, I think you're overdoing it with the physical activity. I think you reach your goals more effectively if you cut out the rowing 10 miles on Lake Merritt the day before your session with me, or whatever it might be. So, for my business, really the bread and butter of the marketing is the networking, and I would like to add more blog writing, but again, it's kind of falls into the same categories, social media for me. It's just something fun to do, but not necessary for business growth.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. And I guess this might not be relevant to your business, Owen, but I do often think, podcasting is obviously something that's really taking off right now. I don't always think that's actually a reason to do a podcast. I think you've got to make sure it's a medium that works for you. But as a marketing channel, I think it could be very strong for some high intensity training companies as a means to educate their market and then build trust and bring customers in that way. I don't know how effective it would be, because obviously, depending on your reach, your audience might be quite local to your studio, your facility. But I don't know if like, for instance, if you're getting the same question 10 times, you could do an episode on, or you could just do you talking. And you could do an episode on, how to, what to do outside or alongside high intensity training for best results, or something like that. And then refer them to that podcast every time or something like that. So that's an alternative, I suppose.
Yeah, we're actually, Austin, he's the acupuncturist in my networking group. He's also a massage therapist, and now he's a high intensity trainer and works at Live Oak with me. And he actually trains over at Everstrong now. And I think it's his roommate or something, anyway, has a bunch of great video equipment. And Austin has recently gotten really into doing some video work. So we're starting to crank those out, some testimonial videos, and we have plans in the next few weeks to start doing some demonstration videos on proper form on certain equipment, a little tour of Live Oak and a little tour of Everstrong. So yeah, that's something that's easier. That's way less time consuming for me, at least, than writing a blog or an article. But yeah, doing these short little 2-3 minute videos, I think, are a great way to just build more trust and edify yourself as a professional, essentially. So, and show that we're a team, really, because we're working toward a model where people can book themselves online. We don't do that quite yet at Live Oak. We do for the initial consultation at both locations, but we're working toward a model where anyone can book themselves with any instructor themselves. Whereas before, when we started, it's like, this is Owen's client, this is Lucy's client, and that's who they train with. But we're trying to allow more freedom for our personal lives, obviously, so we can get up and go and know the business is taken care of. But also for the client's benefit, because we've gotten some positive feedback from multiple clients working with multiple trainers being like, oh, wait, the way Abe explained the pull down on the AirX, a light bulb clicked. I was able to feel my muscles in my lats first and not just all in my arms. I'm like, cool. I don't know what he said, but that's great. So I think there's some value in having clients work with multiple instructors, just because the language and the way they're going to say something might click for them and they'll get more out of their workout.
Awesome.
I don't know where that tangent came from.
No, it's cool. That's what this is all about, bouncing around
Right.
and going off on tangents. That's the beauty of long form.
Exactly.
You know, I've done a few podcasts where I've only got like half an hour with a guest, and especially if they're high profile, like I understand, like, you know, it's a pecking order. But I feel like half an hour for me is like a warm up, you know, it's, I need like, I think some of my best episodes are over 2 hours long, you know, but hey, okay. So so both your facilities are full of MedX and ARX equipment. Do you want to talk to me about, because what we'll do is we'll go into a bit about the business and the capital that was required and the running costs and all that type of stuff. But I'd love to hear like the story around, you know, how you got acquired this equipment, why you went in that direction, that type of thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. There's some fun little stories in the history here. So upon, you know, joining BNI and being encouraged by everyone to go for it and open up, like, you might not feel ready now, Owen, but just do it. I started looking for equipment, and I won't mention any names, but there's a gentleman that has a less than ideal reputation in the used equipment sales in MedX and Nautilus. And I almost bought some equipment from him, but had a falling out, and I'd already signed a lease. And so I was going in without any equipment, freaking out. And Brian Ripley, my attorney, actually in my BNI group, he's like, hey, I found this guy, and he's got a full 13-piece line of MedX equipment. Have you seen this yet? And I hadn't. And it was through Tony AAA, which is a really great guy who sells equipment. And literally within 5 minutes, I called Tony, almost crying. I'm like, oh, this new guy, and I just lost this equipment sale. I really need to buy this. And he was like, it's yours. And I was like, oh my God. So again, BNI relationship to the rescue. I bought the MedX just out of necessity, essentially. Dave DeSisto has just one piece of MedX equipment, the Ab Crunch. So I was just familiar with that and knew it had a great reputation. So I was like, let's do it. And so that's how I got my first line of equipment for Live Oak, the first location. And so a year passed, and I think 9 months in, we discovered this beautiful 18-piece line of MedX equipment for sale through Bill Casto, another great guy. But there was no need for it. We're like, man, that's some beautiful looking stuff. It was green. It was like really relaxing looking, just gorgeous equipment. And it was apparently only 2 or 3 years old, or had been like in a MedX showroom and bought by a guy who just made a bad business move. I don't know the whole story, but anyway, he was in a pinch and needed to sell fast. So I kind of kept my eye on that line for a month and saw the price continuing to drop and drop and drop. And it got to a number where I was like, that's too good of a price to pass up. I don't know what I'll do with that equipment. I'll just put it in storage and we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll swap out and sell the old blue equipment and switch it in. Around that time, Abe, my current Everstrong business partner and client, was really wanting a career change, loving the super slow methodology. He had done CrossFit. He had done Chinese acrobatics. He's had a blog about lower back pain. So he's a really athletic and fitness oriented guy. He's like, hey, like maybe we should team up and open something in the city. I've always dreamed of having my own facility. So all these like kind of different opportunities started to show themselves at one time. And to make the long story short, essentially, we moved some of Live Oak's equipment over to Everstrong, just 4 pieces. We got the leg curl, leg extension, the arm cross, and the overhead press on the MedX for Everstrong. And right at that moment, my Live Oak upstairs neighbors started being really loud and like just sudden drops of boxes on the floor. Well, I've got someone with 200 pounds on the overhead press, and then the whole ceiling is shaking. I was like, this is not okay. I was promised a quiet environment by my landlord, and 4 times a day, these people upstairs are having schedule shifts, bringing in all this equipment, dropping and dragging it on the floor. We got to move. But serendipitously, we were kind of at a point in our business where we were like growing out of that space. So coincidentally, my landlord 4 blocks away owned another piece of property, 1,800 square feet, huge ceilings, beautiful natural light. The property manager took me over to see it. I'm like, yes, we'll take it. This is a week after I had committed to buying the 18 pieces from Bill Casto. It's like, sweet. I don't have to buy storage space. I know exactly where that 18-piece line is going now. So bit by bit, I think I actually just sold off the last piece of old MedX equipment that we didn't use for Everstrong. And everything just fell right into place. I think I was telling you once the carpet went in. It finished at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, and at 6 a.m. Dave Golder on Wednesday morning pulled up in his big truck and unloaded the 18 pieces of MedX. So that all came in. So and I'd grown to love MedX over that year, so that's why I got really excited about a new line. So and clients love the smoothness and the frictionless of the MedX equipment. I think it's fantastic. Is it the best? I don't know, but it sure works, and people notice the difference. We've had clients fall off and go try to do, workouts on their own, and after a few months they come back because they're like, I don't know, I tried to do a leg press at my other gym and it just sucked. I couldn't feel any resistance or tension. So it does make a difference having good tools. Yeah. So that's the MedX story. And then, Abe and I, commercial real estate in San Francisco is just so expensive. So ARX was kind of a solution to that. Like, wow, we can offer full workout in a small space. Everstrong SF is less than 500 square feet. So we had to really get smart with our layout. So we've got the Alpha and the Omni over at Everstrong. I just have the Alpha at Live Oak. And so we're able to really offer the fantastic full body workouts at Everstrong, because we've got both machines that are equipped to do over, 25, 30 different exercises. So people are loving it. And the trackability, you know about ARX. It's awesome.
And now it's time for a quick break. This episode is brought to you by Health IQ, a life insurance company that helps health-conscious people like runners, cyclists, weightlifters, high-intensity training participants, and more get a lower rate on their life insurance. Go to healthiq.com/CWarrior to support the show and see if you qualify. If you take care of yourself, you do smart strength training, you eat well, and your life insurance company doesn't seem like they care, there's an answer for you. Health IQ actually gives savings to people who take care of themselves. About 56% of Health IQ customers save between 4 and 33% on their life insurance because of this. To see if you qualify, get your free quote today at healthiq.com/CWarrior or mention a promo code CWarrior when you talk to a Health IQ agent. And now back to the show. I was like, how come Owen's the first one to have ARX in San Francisco? That doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like it's like the perfect machine for the Silicon Valley operator. You know, efficient, effective, quantified, all of that. So that was quite interesting to me. So many questions that are coming up for me, but I don't want to miss this. Tell me about the bit of PR you did, because that worked really well for you in SF, didn't it? For Everstrong?
The bit of what was that?
PR. You had an article in the local paper or something like that?
Oh, yes. I mean, literally, journalists the Everstrong location's great. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to San Francisco, but we are right at Fillmore and Haight in the lower Haight. Just a really famous and location in the city. So great foot traffic. We're right. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants and cafes, hair salons right our neighbors. And a journalist walked by and saw our signage, I think the day after we put up the Everstrong logo on the windows, and reached out to us. He's like, hey, we've got a little local publication that focuses on local business and happenings. Would you guys be open to doing a quick interview, and we'll post it? I don't know how many readers or subscribers they have, but it's all online. You know, they send a daily email with 3 stories or something. We're like, hell yeah. Interviewed us. A week later, that article came out, and I think we got 50 inquiries within 3 or 4 days. I was like, Abe, are you ready? And because Abe's the man on the floor. He's doing all the consults, signing people up. I'm kind of the back end guy at Everstrong because I've been running Live Oak, and Abe did an awesome job. He just we signed up people, and I'm not sure what percentage came from that. Hoodline was the publication, but we've still got some of the people who initially found out about us through that article as clients. We opened in November last year, so we're just finishing up month 3. And that really set us into momentum. Like, that was just an awesome, lucky thing that happened for us. And
you're a very lucky person.
I am. I don't deny it. But I also think that the more you put yourself out there, the more you put yourself out there to qualify for luck, right?
Well said.
Luck happens to those people that work to put themselves in positions for luck. So
you create your own luck, right?
Create your own luck. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities. And sometimes, some people call it the flow state, right? You're in the flow, and good things keep happening. And I am just humbled by it and grateful every day, like, for these things that have happened, because it's unreal. Sometimes I wake up every morning. I mean, it's Monday morning right now. My silly cat is on my lap, and I'm talking to Lawrence Neal. It's like, what could be better? This is the entrepreneurial dream. I've got 2 businesses right now with other trainers training really awesome clients, and I'm not there right now. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
So Everstrong hasn't been going all that long. So how's it going? How's business there? It's only been 3 months. So
right. Well, I mean, I think we're off to a really strong start. Like I said, rent in San Francisco ain't cheap. So we need another push. We're kind of working on strategies to get another flood of interest. So we're working on a couple fun little marketing campaigns. My cousin Darcy Drollinger is an amazing actor, screenwriter, producer, and drag queen who is really well respected in the community. And he's been working out with us. And so we're actually going to do a fun photo shoot with him working out on the ARX in high heels in drag next week.
Oh my God, you have no idea. My girlfriend would absolutely love this. Sorry to interrupt you. She's a massive fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. Are you familiar?
Oh boy.
And has this person starred on that show at all?
I'm not sure, but Darcy, they do Star Trek, Golden Girls, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all live shows in drag that are just hilarious. And Darcy's a really strong, fit guy. and he's really paid attention to his health. So we're we're gonna take advantage of his mayor status essentially in the community and do a fun little marketing campaign with that that we hope will bring in a group of people to work out on the ARX. But yeah, we're really surprised too. Like you're saying, that we are the first to do it in San Francisco. It just seems like a no-brainer that ARX should be in San Francisco. Yeah. And we do, again, balancing the time and commitment boundaries in life. We would like probably to have multiple locations of Everstrong in the Bay Area. In San Francisco alone, I think we could have 5 locations. But it's like, how do we set that up where neither of us burn out? We're still growing our systems and working on bringing in great trainers that are really good with people and want to stick around. So, yeah, but overall, I think Everstrong's doing great. We've gotten some really great positive reviews on Yelp and whatnot. And again, another community is born, and it feels cool to be a community builder.
Definitely. Why? So obviously there's a number of options you had in terms of equipment you could have purchased for that location. What made you buy ARX and choose that?
Well, yeah, I mean, being San Francisco, that's so data and tech driven, ARX was a natural choice. Again, like I was saying, the space limitations, we've got 480 square feet. So we have to make the most of that space, and ARX is kind of, an all-in-one machine. And people just love seeing the data in that community. So we went with ARX for those reasons mainly. And knowing that we were first, we were like, there's probably a huge opportunity here to set the tone for the whole city and the whole market. That was really the main decision. And then we added the MedX was a nice accompaniment to the ARX, because I already had the equipment from Live Oak that I didn't need any longer, and you can't do a leg extension or a leg curl very well on the ARX. I mean, you can on the Omni, you can do a standing single leg curl, but in my opinion, the MedX is a lot better for that move. And then the overhead press, we prefer that on the MedX. It's just a lot more stable than the cables. Yeah, it's such a good machine, right?
I missed that one so much. I was doing an overhead press on a machine at a gym local to where I live, and it just doesn't have the cams, and there's just no change in the friction. So I'm a big fan of an overhead press movement in general, but there's nothing like the MedX one. Like I miss like the level of inroad and fatigue I could get on that. It's a lot of fun.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And we've been, I've lately been doing a lot of positive assists toward failure with clients, and loving it is not the right word, but it's definitely, getting a couple extra negatives in on that movement particular seems to be extra devastating, and people come out and are breaking plateaus by just going one set to failure on the concentric. So yeah, we're playing with some new protocols too.
I'm hoping I can, start something of my own one day. Perhaps, if we do, partner and I do decide to settle in Galway long term, there's nothing here. There's nothing here like it. So, much like a lot of cities around here. So, I may have to start something and optimize my scuff appearance.
That's skinny buff, people. That's skinny buff stuff.
I mean, it's interesting because I have friends over in the UK and around London, and I'm just, I just say to them, like, look, there's such a massive opportunity right now to do exactly what you've done in SF, but in London, because you've got similar clientele, super busy, very wealthy, affluent people who this would just be perfect for. There is one or two high intensity training facilities in London, but they're not really designed for kind of the one-on-one private personal experience. And I feel like I was saying to a friend the other day, I said, you know what, if I was still living in the UK, and perhaps corporate warrior wasn't my kind of sole focus, I reckon I could pitch and secure investment by like, venture capitalists or something like that, very easily. Well, not very easily, but I think I feel very confident I could secure that. And I'm almost saying to them, you do it so that I can come over and use it,
Yeah. Someone's got to do it. Yeah, no, I think you'd be hugely successful. No doubt. It's like, Doug McGuff says, it's the 6-figure lemonade stand. If you just really learn to be real with people and enjoy it. Just, you got to enjoy the process, because, what else? Why are we doing it otherwise? So,
yeah, you got to love the training, right? The process, the mastery. Like I absolutely love all that stuff, and I'm finding it now. I'm at a point where it's not about necessarily optimal gains, although I am always trying to improve. But it's more about the meditation, the practice, the mastery. It's that.
Oh my gosh, that's been a huge focus of our work lately, because, as we know, genetics play such a huge role in what the aesthetic, or what the response or the stimulus is to the work. So for me, we go slow. I don't count tempo anymore like I did when I first got into this, being super strict 10-10. But I think there's more benefit to moving slow than just the physiological adaptations. People's lives, especially here in these big cities like San Francisco and Oakland, are fast paced. So if I can just offer them 20 minutes out of their week where they come in and move slowly with intention, it's very meditative. It's a combination of strength training, exercise, and meditation all in one. So they're getting to slow down. And we don't do music. It's cool that our new facility has this great natural light, so it's very calming. And then we set them up on the power plate, the vibration plate at the end of their workout, and just give them a leg massage for 3 or 4 minutes. And they leave in a totally different mindset than they come in. So to me, that's been a huge selling point, or just knowing there's more to what we're offering than just strength. And I had this conversation with Abe the other day, that what we really figured out what we're selling, or what we offer clients. One of the biggest things, at least, is confidence. Confidence is what we sell. People come in and we teach them how strong they already are. And some people don't know, they have no idea. They've never pushed themselves as hard as we do, because they just don't know how to do it safely, or they hate exercising. And we see people, I think I was telling you this once, I had a client who told me, and I was like, I don't know if I could take credit for this, but she got the courage after your training with us to finally leave an abusive relationship, like, of years. Like, whoa.
Wow.
That's some deep stuff, right? She's like, I finally felt the courage and strength to respect myself, to leave a crappy relationship. I'm like, whoa, that was a moment for me when I realized there was so much more to this resistance training than just getting nice shoulders and pecs. Like, okay, so we gotta really figure out how to communicate better what we're doing and what we offer, because it is life changing. Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories.
I love how you boiled that down to the essential confidence, Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's say, I just want to make sure I cover off a few key things. You've done both. You started a business solo and you've partnered. So you've got an experience doing both, going by yourself and then also partnering with someone. Talk to us about the pros and cons of each.
Yeah. So starting with Abe, Abe was a client of mine, and he's just a super generous, awesome guy. So we have a lot of similarities, and it was kind of just a natural fit. And we just made, a promise, we're just totally open and honest with communication, expectations, not getting butt hurt. If things aren't working out or expectations aren't being met. So the accountability is really awesome, having a business partner, and also not having to do everything yourself. That's kind of like a duh. And I couldn't do Strong without Abe. There's no way. There's just not enough hours in a day. So you can really expand your reach with a partner and affect more people. And I think the benefit of doing it on my own is I learned how to do everything, so I can contribute to Everstrong the things I've learned along the way. Because Live Oak is, like 2 years ahead of Everstrong, essentially, in the learning process. So I can bring these lessons from an older business to a new business to make sure the systems are being created the right way from the first time, as opposed to learning. Not like we know everything, because we don't, but we're making plenty of mistakes along the way. So I like the accountability and the camaraderie and how we bounce ideas off of each other. We're constantly sharing documents. He's, putting together a presentation. I'm like, hey, this is too long. Let's edit this down. It's kind of nice to be part of a team again, and establishing roles. It's actually helping me run Live Oak now better, and delegating jobs. Lucy, my fiance, has really taken on like a managerial office managerial role at Live Oak. And she's trained Austin and Andrea, our newest trainers there, on all the machines and all the setup, while I was busy, with Abe getting Everstrong all set up. Yeah. So, that's off the top of my head, really the big things.
Awesome. And one of the things you mentioned, obviously, is that you work very closely with your spouse or your fiance, I should say. How is that? how do you manage that? How do you make that work?
Yeah. I think we do a pretty good job. We've established a lot of rules, essentially. So at home, we call it the bubble. And if we're going to talk about business at home, we're in the bubble, and no decisions get made about the business while we're at home in the bubble. Essentially, we can talk, we can reflect, but we're not going to make any big decisions. We also we live in it's like a condo, so it's 2 stories. Upstairs is bedrooms and bathrooms. Downstairs is our kitchen, living room. We do not discuss business upstairs in the bedroom. Like, it's just totally off limits. And we literally, once we're walking up at the top of the stairs, sometimes we'll turn to the others like, you got anything? You want to talk? Okay, cool. And we walk into the bedroom, boom, done. Business is over. And that's really important because, business is exciting and it consumes our life, but we need to turn that switch off to focus on our personal life. We're planning a wedding in 6 months, so there's a lot going on. And we need to respect that. And then other times it's just beautiful. Like, I'll come to the office and she's with a client and I'm doing some work at the desk, and I look up and I'm like, oh my God, it's my fiance. She's working. We're building this business together, and it's a beautiful thing. So it can work. It's probably not for everyone, building a business with your partner. It definitely takes a lot of communication, a lot of work. But it can be just incredibly rewarding too.
I think that's incredibly smart what you've done in terms of the boundaries, and it's interesting. I have listened to and read a fair amount of work from Esther Perel, who's like a relationship expert. She's a fascinating lady, and it's interesting because she talks about one of the things. I know we're going a little bit off topic here, but I just feel like this is important. One of the things you can use to enhance your relationship is spend time to see your partner in their best mode, and sometimes that's when they're doing their art. Or that is when they're actually working, they're actually doing what they love doing. So I can see that with you. Your fiance is training someone and she's in the zone, and you're observing that, and that kind of it can enhance your attraction for that person. I think too many couples obviously are kind of they might only see each other in the evening, like after work, and they're tired and they're not their best selves. And Esther Perel's always saying you should arrange lunch dates with your partner.
That's brilliant,
because that's when you're actually going to be higher energy. But you're getting some of that by working together. But I think obviously you have that, but you also have to establish those boundaries. That's critically important. I think Ash and I think she would, she likes her own space, as do I. So we would definitely have to do the similar sort of thing if we ever went there in the future.
Yeah. Get a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That's really well put. That's definitely something we get to experience. It's actually you've kind of pinpointed it for me, but yeah, when I walk in and I see her in her zone coaching somebody through a machine, and just she's become really good at what she does. Her clients love her, and I get to see that. It's really cool.
And vice versa, when she sees you operating, it's interesting. I think it's a thing that I never thought about, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, we've gotten to see each other grow from, she was waiting tables and I was driving for Lyft and Uber, like you doing side jobs. That's where we were at when we met each other. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see what we're doing now and how we've kind of built it together. It's a great thing.
We haven't really spoke much about the numbers. I'd be really, I mean, obviously some of this is sensitive, so only tell what you feel comfortable saying. But I'd love to hear, like how much did you need to get started? I mean, you've spoke a little bit about how you sourced capital, but I'd love to hear you elaborate on some of that stuff for the listeners.
Yeah. And of course, obviously it depends where you're living in the world, what the market is, but in the Bay Area, it's rather expensive. I think in San Francisco, it's almost double per square foot to rent as it is in Emeryville and Oakland, upward toward $4 or $5 a square foot. So you don't get much space. But yeah, so within the BNI realm, I met a banker who had experience with Wells Fargo. She used to manage $1 million accounts. And then she branched off and works for a more local, smaller bank here in Oakland. And so she knew people. She's in another chapter, but she knew people in my chapter, and they recommended I talk to her to get a SBA loan for my initial investment, or for my initial company at Live Oak. So I met with her, and she pulled some strings, definitely, to get me a $35,000 loan. That's roughly what I needed, and that left me a little cushion too. I didn't need all of that, so I was able to leave $6,000 or $7,000 in the bank just as a cushion if things didn't work out. So that's how I got the first 13 pieces of MedX, paint, whatever, my desk, artwork, water cooler, all the stuff you need to open up a little facility. Fortunately for Everstrong, Abe and I were able to not get a loan, just our equal, our contributions. He contributed way more than I did, fortunately. So we were able to avoid having to get any funding for Everstrong. And we're both starting to pay ourselves back a little bit on our initial investment. To that, we're nowhere near paid off or profitable yet, but we hope to be by the end of the year. And I guess it just all boiled down to knowing people that knew people who believed in me and trusted me. That's how I was able to get a loan through the network. That's how I was able to start it out.
Cool. And I remember last time you mentioned the number of workouts you'd done, which I think was very impressive. I don't know whether you've prepared that this time around. Do you remember the number?
Yeah. I mean,
how many you do, like on a weekly or monthly basis, that type of thing?
Right. I mean, these days I'm doing about 40 personally, 45 workouts I supervise a week. I'm just supervising workouts at Everstrong every other Saturday. So Abe and I can split off and each have a full weekend off twice a month, which is really nice. Another perk of opening with a business partner. And Live Oak right now, we're hitting right around 400 workouts a month, and I would like to get that to 600. I would like to do 150 a week. That would give us an opportunity to start making a few extra payments toward the loans. So I still have a balance on my original loan, and then the private loan I had brought up earlier that I got from a client, I'm going to be starting to make those payments actually next month. So we want to crank things up a little bit so we don't get into a panic mode. But yeah, we're right on track, I think, to meet our goal. I think last time we met, I'm looking at my numbers right here actually. So we hit 375 in January. We're on track to hit 400 this month in February, which is great because there's 3 less days. So that does mean we're growing. And our immediate goals are to get Andrea and Austin, 2 my other trainers, up to that 35 sessions that they're personally supervising each week. So then between the 5 of us, we're each seeing 20% of the total. And it's nice and spread out, and we can cover for each other. Andrea and Austin will be covering for Lucy and I when we leave for Minneapolis next month, from the exercise conference with you guys. And that feels great to trust our staff to leave the business in their hands.
I'm going to take this opportunity to plug a few things.
Totally.
The details for the Resistance Exercise Conference will be on the post to this episode, which will be over at corporatewarrior.co/Owen. But I just wanted to say as well, I've done a very comprehensive episode already on how to start a high intensity training studio with Jay Vincent. And he goes through all of the details regarding costs and overheads and investment and what you need and all of that. So I'll link to that in the show notes, because I don't always like to reinvent the wheel, but I appreciate you covering that stuff as well, because I just wanted to cover that. But I will put that in the show notes for the listeners to refer to that episode if they want to know more about that specifically. Let's talk a little bit about time management for a second. I'm a productivity nerd.
Totally.
Talk to me about some of the tools and habits that you've implemented that have worked really well for you.
Totally. My weeks are pretty set in stone. Each week looks very much like the last week. So, it's Monday morning right now. I don't see clients till 3 p.m. on Mondays. So Mondays are a little different. I don't have to get up early, although I do. And so time management tools that I use consistently is I've blocked out 90 minutes, 5 days a week to do the most daunting tasks of my day. And for me, daunting tasks are usually the things I'm avoiding. Like, I've been putting it off for a few weeks now, going to the city hall to renew my business license, taxes, all the nitty gritty things you have to do as a business owner. So if I didn't allocate time, those things just wouldn't get done. And they still don't get done sometimes, even though I've allocated time. So I know that I need to put those as a priority. So 90 minutes, 5 days a week, that's on my calendar, different windows of time, Monday through Friday, because of my training schedule. But at least that's there. I use web.any.do. That Abe introduced me to. It's like a little task manager to-do list. You can have different categories. So I've got Everstrong, Live Oak, personal. I've got one other category on there, and it's just like quick things. It's like, oh God, I need to write Lawrence a quick email. So I'll just put that on there so I don't forget. And it's, you keep it open. It's a tab on your browser. So I use that now. I've switched over. I don't use a notebook anymore, really, like I was before. I think this could fall into the time management category, but meditation and working with a business coach has been hugely profound for me. I worked with Isaac Brown, isaacbrown.com. He's a great business coach. And he's really helped me figure out what's important to me as I grow. Because like I said, when you start out, you have this unrealistic dream or fantasy of what it would be like to run a business. And you think, oh, it'd be so great. And then for me, like, I've accomplished that, but reality hasn't caught up with the dream, if that makes sense, or the dream hasn't caught up with the reality. So now I see what it's like to have hundreds of people come in through the door. And that's the fantasy of that seems exciting, but the reality is that's a lot of emails. That's a lot of appointment packages to track to make sure everyone's there. That's a lot of decisions to make. That's a lot of people to care for. I'm an extroverted introvert, so seeing 40, 50 people a week is kind of, it, like Skylar, it lights me up. I'm in the zone working with clients. It fuels me up. But at the end of the week, that's a lot of personalities that that's a lot of people's lives that I'm involved with. So-and-so's sister has breast cancer. So-and-so just put their cat to sleep. Everyone's got, I'm part of that. So Isaac's really helped me kind of put up a shield, boundaries, journaling, and meditation to just really keep my center and stay grounded within movement. So not just finding a quiet space and a pillow for 20 minutes and meditating, but really being able to keep that focused headspace in the midst of the chaos. So highly recommend formulating a meditation practice and then finding a business coach so you don't lose your mind along the way, because the responsibilities aren't going anywhere. They just grow and grow and grow and grow as the business grows. So you got to find systems to keep yourself healthy, and keeping your health as a priority along that process.
Absolutely. I'm actually on the cusp of investing in a business coach myself to help me focus the podcast a little bit and figure out how I can build this business and trying to strike that balance where I'm not building a business at the compromise of the user experience and the listeners, and trying to make the best decisions. And also probably for the most part, I need some accountability,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting hearing you say that, because it's something that I'm contemplating quite seriously at the moment.
Yeah.
What does the first 90 minutes of your day look like?
Yeah. So, Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, it's all a little different based on my training schedule. So beginning of my day on Wednesday morning, that's BNI morning, and that starts at 7:15. So I get up at 6 and I'm out the door at 6:45. I don't, shower, chug some water. I take some perfect aminos. It's it's a substitute for breakfast. I on Wednesdays, I don't normally eat breakfast. And then we've got good coffee at BNI. So that's my first hour. And then I'm running that meeting from 7:45 to 9. That's Wednesday morning. Mondays and Thursdays, I don't start training until the afternoon. So those are kind of early morning journaling and meditation and administrative duties. The 90-minute windows are early on those 2 days. Tuesday and Fridays, I start training at 7 a.m. So those days, I get up at 5:45 and I'm out the door by 6:30 and training 7 till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, I just formulate my first 90 minutes based on what the day ahead holds for me, really. But I do notice on obviously Mondays and Thursdays, when I have a little more leisurely mornings, that I'm quite a bit more grounded by the time I get to the office to train clients. Getting right into it in the morning is a challenge for me sometimes because I didn't get my meditation in or my coffee. So, but as long as it's on the calendar, I just do what my calendar tells me, really.
No, I'm very similar. You mentioned earlier that you're like an extrovert introvert. How did you figure out your personality type? What did you use for that?
Isaac's really my coach has kind of helped me, come to that. I'm one of these people that I thrive. I'm very much a positive. I see the good in people. I see the good in every experience, which is my strength and my weakness at the same time. Sometimes I need, which is good. I've got Lucy. She's actually kind of the opposite. She'll see the flaws in situations and be like, actually, I think this could be better this way, where I'm like, this is a great opportunity. Everything's wonderful. So, the yin and yang there. But I guess, I thrive on people, but I have a limit, and that's, I really enjoy my alone time. So I guess I just figured it out by experience and growing this business to what it is, and knowing that I need both people. I thrive on the interaction, and then thrive on the reflection when I have the sacred time by myself in my home office. Yeah.
I think I may be quite similar to you, and I've not yet done a personality test, but I always thought, because I had a background in sales, and I was always considered, by my peers and colleagues, like good with people, good socially, that type of thing. And I guess that in some ways has transferred over to the podcast quite well. However, like I noticed for myself more recently that social interactions do sap my energy, like significantly, and I actually do really enjoy my own space and my alone time as well. So I've actually kind of started to think that maybe all this time I'm not an extrovert, or maybe I'm similar to you, so I'm intrigued. Yeah. I'm intrigued by that. And I think I might go and get some kind of test or do one of these online tests or something like that. So just to figure that out might help inform the whole way I structure my time and that type of thing.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure we cover a couple things, then we'll wrap up. What is you've obviously had some big challenges along the way, in your businesses, and listeners often ask me, I want to learn more about, challenges that were faced and how they were overcome. Can you talk about what are the first challenges that come to mind for you? Can you talk a little bit about those and how you overcame them?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we figured out that confidence is what we sell, because confidence is what overcoming, lack of confidence was probably the first big hurdle of, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Is this going to work? Taking that first leap, I think to this day has probably been the biggest obstacle getting started. And just having the belief that it was going to work. And then honestly, it's just, as we said, I had to let somebody go. That was every entrepreneur is going to have to do, learn how to fire someone along the way. And that was tough. That was really tough because I really liked the guy. There was, it was just really good, but he just wasn't pulling his weight. So it's not like I despised him and it was easy. Like, get rid of him. It's like, oh man, no, it's like he was really letting himself down and letting the team down. So that's been one of the hardest things. But looking back, that was almost a month and a half, 2 months ago. It's like totally dust in the wind now. Like there's zero stress around it. So, the obstacles, and then just the day-to-day operations, like having all the puzzle pieces fit together in a way that I can still remain energized is always tricky. Time management is definitely a challenge for me. So making sure I prioritize the things I'm avoiding first, because if I get those done, I have a bigger sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. So I think everyone's struggles are going to be a little different based on their personality and their strengths and their weaknesses. And then one of the things we're learning right now is delegation, not having to do everything ourselves, and learning how to best leverage the fact that we now have employees, and what can we, recognizing their strengths and their weaknesses, and how can we delegate to them in a way that's, one, going to drive the business forward, and two, relieve the most stress for us. So that's not an easy thing to do, but it's been a great lesson in learning how to really get clear on what are we doing, what are we trying to accomplish, and what can everyone bring to the table. Yeah, I'd say those are the biggest things on my mind for what we've overcome as of late.
Cool. Well, I've just recorded an episode of Ari Meisel, who's well known for being an expert on productivity, in particular delegating and outsourcing and stuff like that.
I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, so that'll be out probably similar time this comes out. So look out for that one.
Great. Cool.
Okay, so I think it's a good time to kind of wrap it up at this point. But I want you to talk about, you've got a little offer for the listeners. Did you want to just mention that? And I'll put the link for that in the show notes, but I don't know if you had an easier link to actually say on the show as well.
Yeah, totally. So Abe and I would love to just, any corporate warrior listeners in the Bay Area, come on by Everstrong SF. We're 218 Fillmore and Haight Street. And we're offering, just for Corporate Warrior listeners, a free consult and so we offer free demos for everyone. So we wanted to offer a little something extra for Corporate Warrior listeners, and that's the initial full workout consultation plus 2 more workouts for just $100. So, let's save $50. And I sent you the link for that, so listeners can click on that from your show notes.
Awesome. Yep. That'll be all linked up there on corporatewarrior.co/Owen. And what's the best way for people to contact you, find out a little bit more about what you're up to?
You can just email me at owen@everstrongsf.com.
You're a great
man. Yeah. Okay. Well, I might have to. I hope to regret that. Let's say. Yeah. No. And we're on Instagram at EverstrongSF is our name, or Owen Hit, OWENHIT. Check out our Instagram, and then the Live Oak page is LOSN.co, the acronym for Live Oak Strength Nutrition. So yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. No, I've really enjoyed this. It's gone in, we've gone off on tangents that I didn't expect to, but that's the beauty of this type of format, that we can just go into subjects that we didn't plan to, and it creates some kind of spontaneity about it, which is nice. Cool. And for everyone listening, obviously I'll mention the URL again. So corporatewarrior.co/Owen is where all the show notes will be for this episode. But if you'd like to see all of the episodes, if you go to corporatewarrior.org, that will redirect you to the podcast page where you'll find I think at this point, there are probably about 130 episodes there for you to peruse. And as always, guys, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Before you head off, head on over to corpwarrior.com, that's corpwarrior.com, to get your free high-intensity training Google Progress chart, an ebook with 6 interview transcripts of some of my top guests, including Dr. Doug McGuff, Drew Bay, and Bill Day Simone, on how to optimize muscle gain, fat loss, and overall health in an efficient, effective, and sustainable way. These transcripts are deliberately not verbatim. Instead, they've been transcribed in an easy read format to make it more enjoyable and easier for you to quickly pick out what you need and start getting results. To get your ebook, head on over to corpwarrior.com, enter your email address, then check your email for an email from me with a confirmation link. Once you click the link, you will be instantly redirected to a PDF version of the transcripts. This podcast is brought to you by HitUni.com. HitUni.com are a provider of amazing online courses for high-intensity training qualifications. HitUni comes highly recommended by the best in the field, including Body by Science co-author Dr. Doug McGuff, Discover Strength CEO Luke Carlson, and trainer and founder of Bay.com, Drew Bay. It was founded by my friend, author, and longtime personal trainer Simon Shawcross, who's also been a guest on the podcast. Simon has 15 years experience training clients and has supervised over 15,000 high-intensity training workouts. Using knowledge from experts like Skylar Tanner, Dr. James Steele, Dr. Ellington Darden, HitUni is a goldmine for learning everything to do with high-intensity training. The courses are delivered online through the website, where you can learn via a variety of multimedia materials at your own pace. There's online support and a discussion forum where you can share ideas and ask for help. To learn more about high-intensity training and improve my own results, I started their personal trainer course. The content is amazing, the courses are really easy to follow, and each section is organized into bite-sized chunks that give you a real sense of achievement after you complete each one. I should also mention there is a DIY course, so this is the course for you if you're not necessarily a personal trainer, but you want to learn more about high-intensity training and how to implement it for maximum benefit in your own exercise regime. To get your exclusive Corporate Warrior 10% discount on any course you purchase, simply head on over to hituni.com, that's hituni.com, and enter the coupon code CW10, that's CW and the number 10. So again, head on over to hituni.com, pick your course, and enter the coupon code CW10 for 10% discount. Thank you for your support.